It doesn't all matter how long you lived, but also how well you lived. This is a statement I heard from Rich Grisby, and if you do not know him, I'd suggest you check him out online. Hello guys, welcome to the 5th episode of History's Most Influential Humans. And before you crucify me in your mind about how I pronounced hello is actually German for hello, by the way. So quick question, have you ever wondered if you'd still be remembered 300 years after you die? What about 200 years or 100 years? I'm guessing not, because it's probably not one of your life goals and they actually sound like weird random questions. But I'm hoping you still do some things that will influence other people's lives positively for your name to still be relevant some years after you leave this world, with the right intentions though. So today's most influential human was given birth about 335 years ago. That's no joke. And is still relevantly influential through his music till this present day. His name is Johann Sebastian Bach. As usual, I won't try to bore you with his long dramatic life story and definitely not the complications attached to his music, but I will talk about a few facts about him on how he grew up and how he rose above all odds and obstacles to become one of the most influential musicians in different genres of music. Sebastian Bach was born in Eisenach, Germany in the year 1685. He was born into an extensive music family and he had brothers, uncles, cousins who were mostly musicians of one instrument or the other. He was the 8th and youngest child and was said to have learnt the violin and harpsichord from his father while he was young. Unfortunately, his mother died in 1694 and his father died 8 months after, so he became orphaned at the very young age of 10. As a boy, he used to sing from street to street, begging from door to door. After the death of his parents, he was taken into custody by one of his elder brother named Christopher Bach, who was also a known musician. His brother taught him the works of great composers and he learned fast because of his talent and passion for music. His brother had a secret library filled with rare musical books and music compositions. Sebastian was denied access to this library, but because he was extraordinarily eager to learn, he would take the books in the library on moonlight nights and go to the roof of the house to sit and copy these books while his brother was asleep. But when his brother found out, he entered trouble. On his own initiative, he went to St. Michael's School for 2 years where he learned so much from his teachers and also students. He used to walk very long distances to listen to famous musicians play different instruments, and he was also able to practice on a famous organ in the St. John's Church close to his school. After he graduated, he started his journey of sharing his music to the world through his appointments in several musical positions across Germany. Throughout his life, he worked as a musician. He was a church organist, music teacher, director of orchestras, director of choirs, and so on. His genre of music include organ music, keyboard music, chamber music, orchestral music, and vocal music. And although these genres might be boring to some people, the fact is that there is almost none of the current so-called musicians most of us listen to today that could have content still relevant on a broad scale less than even 70 years from now. Yet most people idolize these so-called musicians. Oh well, life still goes on anyways. Sebastian Bach is famous for his ability to blend and transcend different types of music into his own form of creative merge to produce very artistic, emotional, and intellectual music. His music explains the more artistic and classical form of music and not the secretary lyrical music of the 21st century. His artistic and creative music expressed both beauty and truth, even without the use of words. To be honest, I can't even scratch the surface of how relevant this man still is in his genre of music, even 300 years after his death, and how many people have reincarnated and reformed his music and music styles using modern day instruments and new ideas. So I'm sure you get my point. Sebastian lived a fairly good life, although he had his ups and downs. There was even a time that he got jailed for 1 month for trying to quit his job, I guess. So his life had a few drama in it. He married 2 wives throughout the course of his life and gave birth to 20 children, although only about 10 grew up to adulthood. I'm not giving any more gist than that. So he died in 1750 at the age of 65. And what is surprising is that it didn't even become extremely famous till about the 19th century, when people started seeing the genius in his work. Imagine you being popular around the world about 50 years after you die. That's weird. Anyways, the life of this great musician shows the importance of mastery of a single art or whatever you have passion for, the importance of hope, of consistency, knowledge and positive impact, sacrifice and the power of art. And if you don't see any of these lessons, and some I might have missed, I think you should listen again. So that's it on today's episode, fam. Kindly help me show this to the world. Who knows, it might actually inspire someone. And that's my aim. So till the next episode, fam, you know I love you all. Peace.